సంబంధాలు సానుకూలంగా కొనసాగాలంటే వాస్తవాధీన రేఖ రూపురేఖలు ఏమిటో భారత్ చైనా వీలైనంత త్వరగా తేల్చుకోవాలని చైనాలో భారత మాజీ రాయబారి అశోక్ కాంతా సూచించారు. సరిహద్దు వివాదాన్ని పరిష్కరించుకోకుంటే రెండు దేశాల మధ్య సోమవారం నాటి సంఘటనలు జరుగుతూనే ఉంటాయని ఈటీవీ భారత్కిచ్చిన ప్రత్యేక ముఖాముఖిలో స్పష్టం చేశారు. సమస్య తీవ్రతను తగ్గించుకోవడానికి, బలగాలను వెనక్కి తీసుకోవడానికి రెండు దేశాలు తక్షణ ప్రాధాన్యాలను నిర్ణయించుకోవాలని హితవు పలికారు. సమస్య పరిష్కారానికి రెండు దేశాల ప్రభుత్వాధినేతలు తమ సైన్యాలకు తగిన ఆదేశాలు ఇవ్వాలని అశోక్ కాంతా సూచించారు.
For the longest time now, because these are clashes that we have now seen that have caused loss of lives they're the first in 45 years. Sort of argument was that, look, compared to the LAC has been relatively calm, but there are horrific, gruesome details of the way the soldiers were killed. Would you say that the LAC has changed here on now?
Clearly, something extremely unfortunate has happened. As you mentioned, for the last 45 years, despite problems we have with regard to alignment to line of actual control in international boundary, are working together. India and China had ensured that the LAC remained relatively peaceful and there were no incidents resulting in loss of life on either side since 1975. Now we need to look at how to move ahead from this present situation, which is serious. We should not downplay seriousness of present predicament we are in. I think what needs to be done, first of all, is to see that there's no further escalation. We should not rule that out. So first of all, I think there's need for very clear political directive going from both sides to respective border guarding forces to try and ensure that situation is de-escalated as soon as possible.
You know, the de-escalation process, as you mentioned, it's going to be very, very complex here on. Even on the ground are going to be absolutely emotional, sensitive. The tempers are going to be very, very volatile. But there is a serious chance of a major flare-up across the other points also where the standoff has been continuing.
I will not rule out, flare-up at some point or other along the line of actual control. I'm reasonably confident that both sides would like to see that flare-up doesn't result into a broader conflict. In fact, both India and China invested a lot in maintaining peace and tranquility in broader areas. So we need to do some introspection. We need to take some immediate steps. These immediate steps, we need to review standard operating procedures we have, see what went wrong, and equally important, we need to look ahead and take some remedial measures. We cannot accept the present situation where there is great deal of ambiguity about alignment to line of actual control. We must clarify and confirm the LAC. We had agreed to exchange maps and move towards a common understanding of the LAC. I think this should be a wake-up call.
Do you think following these casualties, is it all the more important that there needs to be a direct conversation between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi, who also agreed to that informal summit-level mechanism post the Doklam standoff in 2017? Or do you think now is not the time for these two leaders to just pick up that phone and make a call?
There is definitely need for contacts at fairly high level through diplomatic channels. It's useful to have meetings between border commanders, but we have always felt that that channel, though useful, is not adequate. So we need to have more contacts at diplomatic level, at the political level. It could be perhaps conversation at the level of special representatives of two countries who are tasked to look after the border issue.
Do you really think that, it is the political directive that does trickle down when it comes to the local commanders on the ground? Is there a communication gap? Because in this instance, most of the experts that we have spoken to seem to suggest that these intrusions this time around were coordinated, were pre-planned.
I have no doubt about the fact that these are not localized incidents. No set of intrusions and border incidents that we have seen since 5th of May has been across a very wide frontage from Sikkim sector to western sector. Clearly, we wouldn't have that many incidents at multiple locations taking place without precision at a very high level. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Chinese side there's no interest in ensuring that there is restoration of a measure of peace and tranquility along border areas. Like us, the Chinese side is also invested in ensuring relative peace in border areas. It's time for us to retrieve a difficult situation. In the past, we have ensured that despite problems, relations remain by and large on even keel. I think this time again we need to do that.
Yesterday, there was a statement put out by the spokesperson, a senior colonel of the Western Theatre Command of the BLA, who said that the sovereignty over the entire Galwan River has always been ours. Clearly, and the MEA has also in its statement said that China is trying to alter the status quo. So will they actually agree to a restoration of status quo ante?
Line of actual control is not about sovereignty. It's about, a given position. It's existing LAC, what exists on the ground. That's why both sides are committed not to alter the line of actual control as it exists. Now, what Chinese are doing in recent weeks is to alter the LAC. What happened yesterday, if you look at the statement put out by spokesman of Ministry of External Affairs, that the incident resulted from the Chinese action to alter the status quo in Galwan River Valley. Notwithstanding consensus that was reached between border commanders on 6th of June. So I think respecting status quo, not allowing status quo to be altered, it's a very important requirement. That's we should accept any restrictions on patrolling, which we have been undertaking hitherto on our side of the LAC. So it should not only be restoration status quo in terms of Chinese personnel moving back to their side of the LAC, but also no restriction on patrolling on our side, no restriction on development of border infrastructure on our side. I think those are also very important requirements.
So one final question then, former National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon in a recent interview in fact mentioned that while these kind of negotiations cannot be done in the public eye or through media.
One thing I'll agree with Ambassador Shiv Shankar Menon that these negotiations are sensitive in nature, they cannot be conducted through media. At the same time, there is need for greater transparency. I'm fully aware of the fact that there are limits beyond which we cannot share in public domain facts of the case. But there has to be better communication from our side. I think that's important. Also to see that we prevent speculation based on leaks, based on ignorance. A lot of that has happened this time. That's avoidable.
Given that Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping held at least 14 meetings since the time that Mr. Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister, and how important is a public message that needs to go out from the top leadership in the country at this point?
It has been very useful to maintain contacts at the level of Prime Minister Modi and President Xi. Engagement at the highest level has contributed to ensuring that India-China relations, which are inherently complicated, complex and difficult, remain on even keel. Though, we have seen ups and downs in relationship. At present, we are going through a period of dip in relations. But I believe political engagement is extremely important and we should not question that.